Hello, beer lovers and festivals fans. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jana and this is Girls on the Road. Today I'll take you to the biggest beer festival in the world, to Munich, to the Oktoberfest. Let's go. The noises around in the Oktoberfest were too much. So I'm here now and I will tell you 10 things you might not have known about Oktoberfest or things that you might find useful if you decide to go. First of all, the timing. Oktoberfest, when is it happening? Oktoberfest, right? Mostly in September. It's usually second Saturday when it starts. The mayor opens the first barrel of beer as a symbol of starting the Oktoberfest. The most famous one is in Munich. That's where the tradition started, but nowadays it's all around the world and people celebrate the beer everywhere. Number two, don't forget to bring cash. Now the digitalized era made us all just carry around the credit card and not worry about cash almost at all. Happened to me, and in Oktoberfest you will be the sober one if you forget cash, because yeah, you can only pay cash 99%. Okay, maybe some vendors have the portals, but 90% of the cases you have to use cash only. The beer costs over 13 euros, so bring a lot of cash. If you want to drink and eat something, it might get a little pricey. If you find yourself at the Oktoberfest only with your credit card, those ATMs that are inside the area don't really have good rates and they usually charge you some extra fees, so be careful, and if you can, really go to a bank or just bring with you euros. Number three, if you love people watching, you love crowds, you want the energy of the big party, go on the weekend. But if you prefer easygoing atmosphere, less people, higher chance you'll get into the tents you're interested in, definitely choose the weekdays. Weekdays are not as popular as the weekends, obviously, because the locals don't go and most of people have to work the next day. So definitely, if you want less people there, less queuing, go on the weekday. Number four, you have to keep in mind that everybody wants to benefit from the Oktoberfest, so everything will be overpriced. Be prepared that hotels will be triple the price. We were staying at the Hotel Leonardo Süd Munich, and it normally costs around 80 euros and now it was 200. If you want to see how the hotel looks, I have a separate video about it. You can check it on my channel. Also, one beer costs 13.5 euros and all the food, bratwurst and even decent meals, everything is overpriced. So be ready for the extra charge as the festival tax. How to get to the Oktoberfest? You can either use a public transport, which we did most of the cases because it's probably the easiest way. The hotel we stayed in had a bus stop right in front of it and one, I wouldn't say close to Oktoberfest because that's the thing. like 2 or 3 blocks from the Oktoberfest, everything is closed. You can't get close by car. Uber can get you somewhat close, but then the prices. So probably the best choice is taking a public transport. It's okay. The only problem, I'm a lazy person, guys, and I really walked a lot around Munich and we went for castles. So in the evening when the Oktoberfest was finished, I was finished as well. I just wanted to hop on a train and be home. But actually, if you're somewhere in the center of the fair space, you must count around 20 minutes of walking to get to an underground station or bus station. Number 6, a little bit of a history. Did you know that Oktoberfest at first was not about beer at all? It actually was a horse race. The King of Bavaria back then organized festivities to celebrate the wedding of his daughter, and there were horse races and of course some beer. With the years going by, they loved the tradition, so they kept the festival, they kept the beer, but they left out the horses. Number 7, I was very surprised about this and I didn't expect it at all. They said like Oktoberfest is for the whole family will enjoy it. And I was like, drinking beer, how could kids enjoy it? But actually there are lots of things as at the fairgrounds. There's a Ferris wheel, haunted house, cotton candy store, some chocolates. There's like a lot of things that kids love. So if you want to go for a beer and you're supposed to like look after your kids at the same time, just take them along. I think they'll have fun time as well. Number 8. Let's eventually talk about beer. First of all, I expected that there will be beers from all around the world. You could taste hundreds of kinds of beers, but no, all the beer is brewed in the breweries from Munich or Bavaria. So there are just several places, but they are huge. There are so-called tents, and you can go inside, there's music, but they are really crowded. Outside of the tent there's usually a beer garden where you can sit and have your beer. Sit is the key word here. You can't just order a beer and go wandering around the Oktoberfest. No, if you want a beer, you have to sit, order, and they'll bring you that huge keg of beer. Actually, if you want just a small beer, well, small half-liter beer, you have to come before 5 p.m. because at 5 p.m. that offer stops, and from 5 p.m. till 11 you only can get the big beer. My tip, if you're not much into beer, you can always have Radler. In Czech, they will stone me to death if I order Radler, aka half beer, half Sprite. But in Germany it's totally normal and I like it. It's a bit sweet and it tones down the alcohol. Number 9, organization. Basically from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. you can go to the fairgrounds. It's free. You don't pay any entrance fee to the Oktoberfest. You only pay everything else. It means food. You can do the bratwurst. You can have something sweet, or if you want a decent meal, you can actually have a sit-down meal when you order your beer. One little thing that you should count with is that the weather can be a little bit unpredictable. After all, it's end of September and beginning of October, which is autumn here in Europe. So the temperatures might get quite low. Actually, the first night it get as low as 2 degrees Celsius. And it can be rainy. And the problem of Oktoberfest is there is almost nowhere to hide. Of course, the tents are covered, but all of those 2,000 plus people in your area will have the same idea if it starts raining, so don't count that you'll have somewhere to hide. So if it looks like raining, you might take an umbrella and maybe also something to wipe the chairs after the rain to have a dry place to sit. Speaking about weather, women tend to wear these traditional Bavarian dresses that are called dirndls, and men wear lederhosen. Those are those funny shorts that are made out of leather, and people really obey the dress code. I thought I'll be the only crazy person dressed up, as I am in most places, but no. I would say good 50% of people wear dressed up. So if you want to live your Bavarian fantasy, by all means join the crowds, but be careful. If it's cold, you will need a jacket or some plan B, because as I said, September, October, not so hot, and you don't want to freeze in your cutesy dress. Number 10, should you go for Oktoberfest? I am the person who's definitely not the target audience. I don't like beer, I don't like crowds, I hate Ferris wheels and all these attractions that make you scream. So for me, there was not really that much to do, but still, even if you're like me, one day, it's an amazing thing. It's like the carnival, it's like some things that only happen at a particular place, and once in your lifetime, you should just be able to say, yeah, I've been there, I experienced it. So that's it. That's the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you give me a little drunk thumb up? And you can subscribe to my channel. I upload every Sunday. Thank you very much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and bye!